Going on, everybody? This video is for you guys that are at home trying to change a differential in your Super Duty rear axle, or maybe you're doing an axle swap or something in between. A little problem that I ran into was with this, basically it's a wheel speed ring. They have a bunch of names: wheel speed sensor, exciter ring, tone ring, whatever you want to call it. You're going to need one of these. Now, I bought this separately, so what you're looking at is, this is an ARB air locking differential. This is a OEM Ford 737 gear, and this is a OEM Ford ring gear for a specific model differential. Couple of things to note. There's a built-in spacer on the ring itself, and some rings may have a little notch in it that might key into an area just right here. There's a little notch. You can't see it in the video, but it's there. But mine didn't have a notch, but I installed my ring gear so that the space butts up to the ring gear itself. Now, ARB on their differential, and I don't know if it applies to the only ARB, but they have the shoulder right here with this ring gear will bottom out. And when I installed it, I didn't have the ring gear on, obviously, because you can't install it. And I had the bearings in, and I popped this into the toaster, and I bottomed this ring gear out all the way on the shoulder right here. And I thought that was where it was supposed to be, but I found out that when I tested it the other day that it looked like it was slightly off, maybe about, I don't know, let's just say a heavy 1/8 of an inch. It was off, and I had thought maybe that I installed the ring gear upside down, where this space was maybe supposed to go there, and vice versa. But I thought about it, and I looked at it for a little bit, and I realized that this ring gear can actually be slid into position. So my thought is that ARB intentionally left you a little bit of wiggle room, because maybe you have to shim your differential left or right depending on manufacturing, and you're going to need to line this ring gear sensor up with the actual sensor itself. So here's how I got mine into adjustment after I realized that I fucked it up. Now, you don't have to take this gear off, which I thought originally I was going to have to do. So all I did was I grabbed my dab rig torch, and I have a wedge, a steel wedge, and I'll demonstrate how I did it. Now, it's already done in the video, but for conversation, you're going to have to actually, you want to go slow on this part, because you definitely don't want to overheat anything, and you also want to make sure this torch is directly on the ring gear itself and not anywhere else. You want the heat to go directly into this piece and nowhere else. So here's how I did it. So check it out. So I use my wedge, get your torch dialed in, and then use your wedge to move your torch up until you get to the right angle, which is about right there. Alright, and then what you do is you just spin the thing, and you just keep doing this. And after about 5 minutes or so, it's going to start getting warm to the touch. And then what you do is you come over here and you just keep going like this, just very gently. Rubber mallet, or one of these kind of mallets, and just keep doing that. And eventually, what's going to happen is you're going to bottom this ring gear out onto the actual main gear itself. And at that point, you finally got it into the right position. Now, I made a little tool to check to see where I was at. So if you look in the video, I have 2 marks. Let's see, can I get the focus? Focus. I don't know, right there maybe. Anyway, there's 2 marks on my piece of metal here, and the reason why there's 2 marks was the original mark was the red one, and I stuck it onto my gear, my old one, and I marked it, and that was the black line. And I came over here and I marked this one the same way, and I noticed that my ring gear was significantly off, and so I used this little metal rod to figure out how far this gear needed to be sucked towards this gear in order to be in the right position, and I just needed to make it match the black line, which was the original one's line. So once I heated it up and tapped it down, it lined up absolutely perfectly. So crisis averted. I didn't have to pull the ring gear off like I thought I was going to have to. Now this ring gear is only friction fit onto this differential. There is no set screw or any kind of thing you do. You just heat it up and you let it just naturally cool down on the differential, and it holds tight. So don't go whacking on this thing. You don't want to bend it up and make it wavy. Just I'd say add more heat, and if you can't seem to get it to work, try putting it in the freezer first and then pulling it out and doing it, because maybe you just need a little bit more temperature differential. My shop's freezing right now, so it kind of worked out for me. But yep, like I said, dab torch, a little wedge, a hammer, and this is actually a needle from a needle descaler, but a piece of metal, the mark, maybe a toothpick, and then you're done.